Hello, Scott here, and welcome to part 3 of John Muir Trail Tips. So a couple of these are very specific to the John Muir Trail, and the last one can be applied to just about any backpacking trip. Number one, I recommend trying the hot springs at Blaney Meadows. I'd never tried a hot spring before, and I'd heard mixed reviews on this one, but I'm so glad I went. I had a great time there. It felt so good at the end of a long day of hiking to get in that warm water. The only warm water on the whole trip I got a chance to get into. The other was freezing cold. This is right across from Muir Trail Ranch, where most of you will be getting a resupply anyway, so you'll be down in that area. So I camped out there for the night, tried the hot springs, had a good time, spent the afternoon just taking in the views while I was soaking in the hot springs, and I recommend giving it a try. Number two, make a stop at VVR. That's Vermilion Valley Resort, and if possible, spend a 0 day there. Now, I didn't have a full 0 day worked into my itinerary to spend there. I was just going to spend a night. However, partway through the trip, I decided I'm going to push it one day and make sure I put in the miles so that I can get there early and put in a 0 day, and I'm so glad that I did. I mean, number one, the food was amazing after days on the trail, having nothing but dehydrated meals, so that was great. They have beer there, cold beer, if you partake. But then the best thing of all were the people there. The other hikers sitting around the fire, swapping stories. Jim, the owner, is an amazing guy, so friendly, so welcoming. It's a very hiker-friendly place to be. During the day you can just hang out and relax, just shoot the breeze with other hikers, or I met a friend on the trail and we went over fishing at the lake. So there's fishing activities, other local hikes you can do. So I highly recommend you stop at VVR and have a good time there. Last of all, you may not expect this one, but I recommend bringing something to read. Now, why would you need to bring something to read? You're just gonna sit back and soak in the nature the whole time, right? And that's what I thought, and typically that's what I had done on other trips. I just spent my time, I could just spend hours just looking at the beautiful views. I, however, encountered a lot of rain on this trip, and lightning and thunder. And as amazing as that can be to watch too, I wanted to try to stay dry. I tried to keep everything dry so I wasn't bringing wet things into the tent. And so when it really was coming down, I got into my tent to take shelter from the rain and the wind, and staring at maps only entertained me for so long before I got a little bit bored. So there was one afternoon in particular at Virginia Lake. I'd really looked forward to fishing at Virginia Lake, but it was stormy there the whole time, lightning and everything, and I'm not one for fishing out in lightning. So I was inside my tent and looking at my maps, just kind of planning out the next day, but that got old real quick, and I really wished I'd had a book to read or a magazine. So true, you want to keep weight down. That's why a lot of people don't bring reading material on the trail, but maybe a thin paperback book or a magazine. If you go the magazine route or a thin paperback book, you could even send another one in your resupply. So if you finish that magazine or finish that book, you got something else to read for the second half of the trail. So bring something to read. I think it's worth a little bit of weight as long as it's not a very big book. So to recap, try the hot springs at Blaney Meadows, stop, and if possible, spend a 0 day at VVR, and bring something to read. So that's the end of part 3 of my John Muir Trail Tips series. What tips do you have for us? Leave a comment below, I'd love to hear them. If you found this at all useful or entertaining, please hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.